The Flash number 56, Joshua Williamson writing and Scott Collins on art. Which first and foremost, Scott Collins on the art in this one. I was digging the art in
Yeah.
this.
So Scott Collins and Howard Porter are my two. When I think of them, I automatically think Flash because of their work on Johns.
And they're both
So
rotating on Flash right now.
yep, and it just feels right.
It does.
Williamson's in that groove where it feels like fresh, but also a throwback because of all the stuff that he's doing with the Rogues. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he did obviously ended the last issue with Flash and Detective Burns, whose name I remember because it's Burns and we're talking about Heatwave. But they're inside Heatwave's head because of the Sage Force, and Barry realizes this quite quick after the first attack by the big ghost spirit Heatwave. He realizes that's what's going on, and he's like, okay, this doesn't add up. We're inside his head. This is the Sage Force, and he has to try and explain it to Burns. There's some fun stuff with her where she's like, don't pick me up, even though he saved her from being blasted with flames. A minute later, he's like, hey, permission to pick you up, and she's like, oh, fine. And speed up.
And I also like how he kind of allows himself to be vulnerable when talking about Heatwave, and she's like, well, what do you know? You're not a cop. And so I like that, him almost giving himself up here.
Yeah, it was especially when she gave up her backstory about her parents working for the Falcones and then burning alive.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, I never knew that. And she's like, why would you? You're not close with me.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, oh yeah, sure, yes, I'm Flash. I'm a stranger. Ugh.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. But no, I like that he's fleshing out these characters. This is, again, I hate to keep comparing it to the Johns run, but I just feel like Williamson was informed by that in his Flash run, and Johns would take these issues to explore these newer characters like Fred Chire, or I'm trying to think of the other detective. I just read it, but he's the one that Plunder was from the Mirror Dimension.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, so you get these small little character moments throughout, and I feel like he's doing the same, like here with Burns. And I'm glad that we picked up on that. This was a different dimension, not a different dimension. They're in Mick's mind because of the way that they just dealt with all the other characters.
Yeah,
it
could have been frustrating if they were in there thinking they were in the real world and everyone was dead. Because then we'd have to go through the shock and horror. Like, wait, they're all dead. All of our friends are dead. No, we have to process that for the whole issue. I'm glad they didn't do that. That was a smart move, I think. Right from the get-go. And even the stuff with Iris and the real world, where she comes by Commander Colt's place, and he's got Flash and Burns just on these heat pads. Or actually, I say heat pads, probably cold pads. They're probably cooling them down. Yeah. And he's got Heatwave there and all his bandages, and he basically surmises that. Yeah, I don't know how to disconnect them without killing them, so they have to find their own way out. Also, if they don't disconnect Heatwave from the Sage Force, he's going to blow up so much. The explosion will be so big that it's going to take out the entire city. So the stakes have been raised. Yeah. So
I just feel like that's Commander Cold's MO is, I don't know how this is going to happen, but someone's going to die. Because he did the same with Trickster and Flash, and now it's Burns and Flash. So, but I'm enjoying Commander Cold as a character.
Yeah,
just because he adds that wrinkle.
Yeah, he's kind of this uneasy ally, and then last issue in the bar, or maybe 2 issues ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then here, interacting with Iris, and he's kind of this third party that's kind of who knows who everyone is. And then inside Heatwave's head, the idea that Barry's deduced that, oh, this is kind of like when I get trapped in the Speed Force. He has to find his lightning rod, so he has to go to Mick's house, his childhood home, and when Mick kind of rejects, because at first he wants to find his lightning rod, but it turns out he wants to kill his younger self and almost sever the connection. So Barry has to save his younger self inside his head, in the hopes that next issue we can make him make the right choice and therefore disconnect from the Sage Force. No, it's really big, and the art is really, like I say, it's really nostalgic for me, because it looks like Johns' run. It really does.
Yep.
And then you have all this stuff with the big ghost heat wave inside his head. It's really big and destructive. And even just the snarkiness of Commander Cold when he shows up and saves Wolf, because of the flaming spirits or whatever are going around, and he shows up and freezes them. Yeah, I'm so into this Flash run at this point, like, because I had this ups and downs a little bit at the start. It was good, but it was like it wasn't quite there yet, and then for a good like year now, it's been this consistent book.
It's come so far from Godspeed.
It has, but Godspeed's still a player, and he's actually, if anything, more interesting than he was at the start, because there is this kind of, he could maybe be rehabilitated. He could be on the good side now, which is interesting.
But
I guess Godspeed could kind of almost become the I won't say Jason Todd. It could become the Huntress of the speedsters, where he'll go further, he'll go darker, but he's not a villain necessarily.
Yeah, and he's likable, so he's not Jason Todd at all.
Yes, exactly.
So,
yes. August better than Jason Todd. You heard it here first, folks. You probably hear it here second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth.
Except for Connor, because Connor loves the redhead.
Exactly, yeah. Connor loves redhead because he's weird. But yeah, no, I'm digging Flash. The art is making me so nostalgic. It really is, and it feels right for Flash. It feels like Flash feels exactly how Flash should feel, except that Wally's missing. But other than that,
yeah, God, that still hurts every time.
It still hurts. But Joe, what's amazing to me is I think back at the start of the book, because we had to like pick up where the New 52 left off with Iris being kind of separate, and having Iris at this point now, we're not only are they dating, she's actually getting memories back of the previous life, and it feels like Iris is Iris again. It feels like she's Iris who interacts with Barry, who understands him, who knows him, he'll push him.
I like the symmetry of Iris having a secret now.
Yeah.
Versus Barry. So it's really well done.
What are you giving Flash 56?
So this was an 8. Really good. Curious to see where the story goes from here. But yeah, Williamson's hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah. I'll agree with 8 out of 10. I'm digging this. I mean, it's funny. This and the Trickster story from last arc is probably the 2 weaker stories compared to the 3 that came before it. But it's still like the standard now is incredibly high. I'm really digging this Flash run. I really am. Williamson's doing a great job.